Selecting our entities one at a time is okay, but it's not the most efficient way to work. In this lesson, we're going to learn how to select multiple objects by using a window. Now, we've touched on this concept already in some of the previous lessons, but in the interest of reinforcing efficiency, I thought it was worth giving this selection method a lesson all its own. On my screen, I have several shapes. Let's say I'd like to erase these 6 circles. To do that, I'm going to launch the erase command, and instead of selecting these guys one at a time, I'm going to click out here in space, and then I'll pull down and to the right and create a selection window. This selection method will select everything that falls completely within this window. I'm going to click right here to finish my window, and then I'll right-click to finish the command. As you can see, in just a couple clicks, I was able to select all of those circles. Think about this for a second. The majority of the AutoCAD commands ask you to select objects. One of the best ways to increase your productivity is to master the art of making selections. I'm going to click Undo to bring these circles back. And this time, let's say I'd like to erase all of these rectangles. To do that, I'll launch the Erase command. This time I'll click to the right side of the geometry and I'll pull to the left. This selection is called a crossing window, and this will select everything that falls completely within the window or crosses over the boundary. I'm going to click right here to finish my window. That selects all of those rectangles, and then I'll right-click to finish the command. Once again, I was able to select all of those entities using only a couple clicks. We can use the window and crossing window selection anytime AutoCAD asks us to select objects. I'm going to pan the drawing over. Let me zoom out a little bit. On my screen, I have 2 mechanical parts. The part above is considered a finished part, and the part below is unfinished. Let's see if we can use some selection windows to help us modify this part such that it looks like the part above. First thing I notice is the part on the bottom has to get a little bit longer. Currently it measures 14.7 units. It obviously has to be 18.7. So to make this longer, I'm going to use the Move command. And I'd like to move the entire right side of this part. So I'm going to make a quick crossing selection. That selects all of that geometry. I'll right-click, and then I'd like to pick my geometry up from the end point here. And my ortho happens to be locked, which is good. I'll pull this to the right 4 units and hit Enter. Now I'll clean this up using the Extend command. I'll move up to the Modify panel and launch Extend. Then I'll select my boundary edges. I'm just going to make a quick crossing window. It doesn't hurt to select more than what I need. I'll right-click when I'm finished, and then I'll extend this line segment and this one. And when I'm finished, I'll hit Enter. Now let's take care of this hole that has these 2 slots. It looks like all we have to do is rotate this geometry 90 degrees. So I'm going to launch my Rotate command, and then I'll make a window selection around this geometry. Notice the only entities selected were the ones that fell completely within that window. I'll right-click, and then I would like to rotate these around the center of this circle. Notice that AutoCAD's giving me a hard time finding that object snap because all of these endpoints are closer to my cursor. If you have to, you can always grab that object snap by moving to the center of the circle. I'll click to select this, and you know what? Here's another shortcut. I want to rotate this 90 degrees. Since my ortho's locked, I'll use that to my advantage. I'll just pull straight down and click, and that gives me a 90-degree rotation. More than half the work you do in AutoCAD will require you to make selections. Knowing how to use windows to select multiple objects is one of the fastest ways to increase your productivity.